So, und hier wären wir ein weiteres Mal bei einer Klassenverhandlungsdingens. Nach wie vor ein blöder Name auf Deutsch, aber kann man nichts gegen machen. Wir haben einen weiteren Skill bekommen, und zwar Handiwork. Damit kann man 2 Bullets auf einmal nachladen, okay. Gut, mehr haben wir nicht, deswegen müssen wir das nehmen. Und ja, ich würde sagen, fangen wir doch einfach mal an. Und jetzt kann ich endlich wieder mal ein bisschen die Klappe halten, yay!
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Okay then. So, first off, let's talk about the murder weapon!
Die Mordwaffe, das müsste eigentlich relativ offensichtlich die Handel sein. Da war zumindest Blut drauf.
Chihiro's fatal injury. It appears it was a head wound.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument?
Hier, was könnte es sein? Was? Wie war das denn bitte falsch?
Chihiro's fatal injury.
Hä?
It appears it was a head wound.
Ja, ist ja richtig.
According to the
Aber-
Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But
Der...
what kind of
Die Handel.
blunt instrument
Ja.
could it have been?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
Ach so, ja komm, ja.
That certainly would be
Ernsthaft
a
jetzt?
powerful weapon.
Ja gut, ich meine, das davor hätte auch Sinn gemacht, ganz ehrlich. Wenn er mich fragt, was es sein könnte und ich das schießen kann, dann sage ich doch offensichtlich, dass ich das damit meine.
It was a head wound.
Wahnsinnig nervig.
Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt
Na los.
instrument.
Und dass ich gerade nicht getroffen habe, war auch mehr als blöd. So, Pipe, komm. Es war keine Iron Pipe und los!
No, it's wrong.
Can we agree that the object that dealt the fatal blow was the dumbbell? Found at the scene of the crime? It was covered in blood. And there was nothing else at the scene that could have caused that kind of injury.
And the wound on the victim's head is consistent with the shape of the dumbbell. As far as I'm concerned, there's no mistake and no room for doubt on this one.
You looked at her head wound?
Yes! That's so creepy!
If you don't mind, I will proceed from here. Let's move on to discussion of the culprit. Although, I believe the criminal behind this heinous act is already quite clear.
What? For real?
Chihiro's killer is the fiendish serial killer, Genocide Jack.
Genocide Jack, hä? Huch. Nee, machen wir nicht, bitte, oder? Wobei, letztes Mal haben wir uns mit der Steuerung schwer getan, deswegen... okay, ja, gut, weiß ich. Es erscheinen jetzt halt, weiße, Dingens, die man abschießen kann. Damit muss man quasi sich den Weg freischießen, das werdet ihr gleich sehen. So, so.
The culprit is
Hier, das hier.
Genocide Jack.
Auch wenn ich nie verstanden habe, warum das White Lines heißt, wenn es doch pink ist. Aber okay.
That's impossible!
Dadurch kriegt man halt auch noch ein bisschen extra Zeit, die man sehen kann.
Well, I mean, come on! There's just no proof for it.
No Proof, das ist falsch. Case File, genau. Das müssen wir gleich benutzen.
I don't know who that is!
Man kann das auch irgendwie ein bisschen vorspulen, aber ich glaube, dafür braucht man erstmal einen Skill oder so.
Is Genocide Jack. I'm sure of it.
Zumindest wüsste ich jetzt gerade nicht, wie es gehen sollte. Ich habe schon alles gedrückt.
Possible!
Deswegen müssen wir uns das immer wieder anhören.
Makes it impossible.
Well, I mean, come on! There's just no proof for it.
Nein, oh, die verdammte White Line hat mich geblockt. Ach komm.
Speaking of Genocide Jack,
Oh. Kann man nicht irgendwie... Man kann es skippen, ich weiß es. Also nicht skippen, sondern vorspulen, aber... Wie gesagt, ich glaube, ich brauche dafür ein Dingens.
Case closed.
Ein Skill.
But that's impossible!
Aber wie ich den bekomme, keine Ahnung.
What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on! just no proof for it.
So. Hm? Bin ich jetzt vollkommen blöd? Oh Gott. Ich hab doch gar nicht... Was ist das denn bitte passiert? Ich hab doch Case-File benutzt. Ist das dein Ernst? Hatte sich das irgendwie resettet? Bisher läuft's nicht gut. Ich gebe mir jetzt aber mal selbst nicht die Schuld dafür. Das ist irgendwie alles gerade sehr seltsam gewesen. So. Das wollte ich seit Anfang an so machen. Wollte ich nur mal erwähnt haben.
I might know one reason he could be involved.
What?
I found this file while I was looking around the archive in the library. I guess it's some kind of confidential file the police put together about the Genocide Jack case.
What? That's kind of weird as shit, isn't it? What was something like that doing in the library?
The why of it is probably more trouble than it's worth. So let's forget about that for now. More importantly, it outlines all the specifics of every Genocide Jack case in exceeding detail. According to the file, there appear to be two defining characteristics in every Genocide Jack case. The first is that a bloody message is found written at the scene of every murder.
Oh, that's right.
Bloodlust.
Hifumi.
No. It's actually bloodlust.
But more important is the other characteristic, and it's something that has never been made public.
Never made public? What the hell is it?
Why don't you tell them, Makoto?
Das zweite, das war... Was war das nochmal? Wie... Genau, wie sie platziert waren.
Apparently, in every Genocide Jack case, the killer suspends the body in a certain way. Other than the killer, the only people who know about this are the higher-ups in the police department.
However, Chihiro was most definitely suspended in the same way. So, how did the culprit know about this when only high-level police officials were aware of it? There's only one logical answer I can think of. It's because the culprit in this case is the real Genocide Jack.
Das wird zumindest Sinn machen.
No fucking way!
You're saying Genocide Jack is one of us?
Yes, in fact, it's Toko.
Was?
What?
Genocide Jack's true identity is Toko Fukawa.
What? Hey, okay, wait, hold on a sec. Toko has like bloodophobia or whatever, remember? What kind of serial killer is afraid of blood?
Das ist ein guter Punkt.
Is Toko Genocide Jack? The answer is yes and no.
Another riddle. Man, why is this gotta be so complicated?
Ja. Wir haben ja herausgefunden, dass derjenige, der Genocide Jack ist, verschiedene Persönlichkeiten hat. Was willst du jetzt von mir? S, was, H, I, B, H, B, S, also es muss jetzt ein C sein, auf jeden Fall. Irgendwas? Ja. Wusste nicht, dass das ein wirkliches Wort war, aber anscheinend, okay. Ich hätte jetzt eher mit Schizophrenia gerechnet oder so.
Is it because Genocide Jack has a split personality?
Huh?
I think I read that somewhere in the file too. They thought that the suspect might have, what did they call it? Dissociative identity disorder.
Oh, okay. But still, to go and say that about Miss Fukawa is...
Perfectly acceptable. Toko's strange behavior after seeing the body is proof enough that she has a split personality.
Sie wird immer ohnmächtig, wenn sie Blut sieht. Genau. Das war anscheinend falsch. Ich hätte... Gott. Ach ja, gut, ihr... Ja, das stimmt. Ja, war dumm von mir.
You're talking about how she started acting totally different than usual, right?
That's right. Think back. She fainted when she saw Chihiro's corpse, and then, when she woke up...
Sie benimmt sich halt immer anders, nachdem sie Blut sieht und ohnmächtig wird.
She was acting funny, that's for sure. That melancholy tone of hers completely disappeared.
Don't go assigning adjectives to my tone without permission.
Not to mention, once she regained consciousness and saw Chihiro's body again, she was utterly calm. In other words, within her is one personality that can handle blood, and one that obviously can.
Das macht Sinn.
So when Toko trapped herself in her room, it's because she was scared of Genocide Jack?
The reason she locked herself in her room wasn't to keep other people from getting in. It was to keep her other personality from getting out.
What?
Toko was afraid. Afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her. Of killing even more people.
How?
Yeah. How can you know all this?
I do believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this? No. What she wants to know is, how could you tell them?
Huh?
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange conversation. She told me a most interesting story.
Uh-oh.
She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time. And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right, Toko?
This is all a lie. Right, Toko?
You said you wouldn't tell anyone.
What?
You promised. I can't believe you lied.
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't ask you to.
Hat sie anscheinend betrogen.
This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy fairy tale.
Deswegen sollte man ihm wohl nicht vertrauen.
Besides, you broke your promise first. You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone. But in spite of that promise...
You said if I kept my promise, you would go out with me. That's the only reason I promised.
How many times do I have to tell you? I never said that, but you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing, could you?
I tried. I swear I tried to control it,
But your efforts were useless. What a disappointment.
I hate you.
Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question directly.
The person? You don't mean...
Uh-oh.
Hello there! Is it me you were hoping to see?
Was geht jetzt ab?
What the heck? So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do? I'm the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better yet, let's go with Genocide Jill!
What the fuck is this?
Toko, what happened to you?
Not Toko, that's a loser name, and what happened is a textbook split personality. So what if one of them happens to be a serial killer? You should turn a blind eye to one's fault.
Damit hätten wir aber eigentlich schon alles geklärt, wenn sie dahinter steckt, oder? Dann wäre das hier eine ziemlich kurze Geschichte.
So intense.
Like they say, sound in murderous mind, sound in murderous body.
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
Yes, well, the world is composed of a front and a back, you know. Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie. Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun!
Ich glaube, die ist echt ziemlich verrückt.
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Some of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you. I am the mastermind of all masterminds. Just kidding.
Then it's not true?
Of course it's not true. How dare you try to link me to that creepazoid? And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless. I mean, they just let this idiotic, bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town.
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people.
Ich bin mir nicht so sicher, ob ich diese Einstellung teilen werde.
It's a necessary
Oder teile.
evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself causes pain for everyone. Just kidding again!
This should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro's death. There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
A motive?
Remember what Monokuma told us? If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed.
Das stimmt. Dann würden alle wissen, dass sie Genocide Jack ist.
Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was about Genocide Jack. If a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined.
Auch das stimmt.
So she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself exposed.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
Huh?
But I cannot imagine anyone other than you could murder someone in such a bizarre fashion.
Maybe so, but nevertheless, it's the truth.
Do you really expect any of us to believe you?
Yeah. I could never believe a word you say, you monster.
Vielleicht ist doch noch etwas anderes hier, was wir uns anschauen sollten. Und ich liebe den Track übrigens immer noch. Es ist einfach so schön. Also, was genau ist hier das Problem? Ein Alibi.
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely. What
Matches
more proof
completely.
Give it up. You killed her.
Das stimmt nicht ganz, weil kein Seil benutzt wurde und auch keine Messer benutzt wurden. Deswegen war es nicht genau gleich wie in den anderen Morden, die sie gemacht hat. Richtig? Ist zumindest das Einzige, was hier Sinn macht. Ey. Ach, du bist doch ein... Ach, Mann. Als ich geschossen habe, war noch nichts da. Immer derselbe Scheiß hier. Ganz ehrlich. Ah. Ja, so. Jetzt bleibt es aber auch bei... Jetzt hat sich das nicht geändert. So wie vorhin. Komisch. Vielleicht habe ich vorhin aber auch einfach einen Fehler gemacht. Als sich das einfach geändert hat hier. Seltsam. So, jetzt nochmal. So, schießen erstmal das Ding ab. So.
Are the methods of murder really exactly the same? I'm not so sure about that. I think there's a slight difference between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
Huh? How's it any different?
Uh-oh, you don't know? Well then, human garbage, let me tell you! I murder with passion and conviction. I consider myself a professional, and I have a very particular way of doing things. Imagine you go to a fancy Italian restaurant. They're very picky about the noodles, the sauce, everything. But what happened to Chihiro? It'd be like if that same Italian restaurant started using ragu or Chef Boyardee. This is no creation of mine.
Let me rephrase that in a way that maybe makes more sense. There are two clear differences between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
Und zwar... Die Wunde, auf jeden Fall.
I got it! For one, the cause of death is different.
Hier immer an den Handgelenken und so. Immer mit Messern oder sowas. Schere, okay. Ja, Schere, eindeutig Schere. Ich weiß nicht, wie ich auf Messer gekommen bin.
But Chihiro died from a blow to the head, right?
Yes. That is remarkably different from the other murders.
Wouldn't it be strange for someone who kills the same way without fail to suddenly change their method? And there's more. One more conflicting detail.
Was denn?
In my recipe of murder, if the bloody message is the tortellini, then the arrangement of the body would be the pesto sauce.
Could you please stop comparing killing people to cooking?
So, are you saying the other difference has to do with how the body was arranged?
Was benutzt wurde? Genau, da wurden ja immer die Scheren benutzt und hier in dem Fall das Kabel. Oder ein Seil.
Do you remember what the killer used to suspend her? They used some kind of rope to hang her up by her wrists.
What is your point?
Well, in all the previous Genocide Jack cases, something else was used to suspend them. Specifically, pairs of razor-sharp scissors.
And guess what? I used my own specially designed scissors for the murders and the arrangement. Like I said, I'm a professional, so naturally I'm very picky about the tools I use. And you know what else? Big Mac said there's two differences, but he's wrong.
Big Mac? Are you referring to me?
Big Mac? Hört sich jetzt gerade gar nicht mal so schlecht an.
Listen up, Big Mac. There's actually one more difference.
Ein weiterer Unterschied.
My word, you really didn't notice? Take a look at who the victims were in each Genocide Jack case. There's a pattern there, just waiting to be discovered.
A pattern?
Figure that out, and it'll be plain as death why I couldn't have possibly killed that little lolly girl.
Und zwar, weil Chihiro ein Mädchen war. Alle Opfer waren immer Jungs, falls ihr aufgepasst habt, oder Männer.
Chihiro was a girl?
Bingo, bullseye, right on the money!
What are you talking about?
In all the Genocide Jack cases, all the victims had something in common.
Wie man hier sehen kann, alle alle Opfer sind männlich gewesen.
They were all guys?
That's right! The people I kill with such passion and conviction are all adorable little men! I can't believe I said it! I'm so embarrassed!
The hell is wrong with you?
I can't help it! I'm just a full-throttle boy-on-boy fangirl, and the mopey side of me just hates it. But now I'm on the fast track to becoming a full-fledged fan madam!
So, since Chihiro was a girl and not an adorable little man, you wouldn't kill her?
Would an Italian chef suddenly start making ramen just because they're both noodles? Don't be stupid. I have too much passion and conviction to cross that line. That's the absolute reality of the one and only.
We get it. You've clearly explained your hobby and your philosophy. But that's not all there is to it. It's a different matter entirely, when you're forced to kill in order to survive.
Quiet, lolly cur!
Lowly? Cur?
I would never kill for a reason as petty as mere survival. And if by some fluke I did kill to survive, why would I bother with the message and arrangement? It'd make me the obvious suspect.
Das stimmt natürlich auf jeden Fall. Warum sollte sie es genauso machen?
That does make some amount of sense.
Plus, whatever reason I have for killing, I would never leave out my prized scissors. Who would go out of their way to use a big, stupid, heavy dumbbell?
Maybe you used the dumbbell because you couldn't find any scissors in the school?
Any scissors? I don't just use any scissors. I only use my own set of high-class envy of the entire world scissors!
Okay, whatever. There still aren't any in the school.
Are you sure about that?
Oh. Das sieht gefährlich aus.
She's fully equipped.
That's right! So I can kill anywhere, anytime. Why would I resort to dumbbells or rope when I have my trusty scissors by my side? Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong. You can't, can you? Gutter dogs, all of you. Not to mention, I have no clue how to tie a good knot. So rope's totally out
no idea what's going on anymore. Could such a heinous villain really be innocent?
But the body really was suspended, right? And nobody but the police knew about that.
Yeah. That's why we figured it had to be the real deal and not some copycat killer or...
Oh, sorry. Es gibt eine weitere Person. Das stimmt. Eine weitere Person, die von allem Bescheid wusste. Nicht wahr, Byakuya?
Here's my answer. Byakuya, it's possible you could have found out, isn't it? You'd have no problem gaining access to classified government documents or internal police records. Plus, you'd already looked through the Genocide Jack file before this all happened, hadn't you?
Are you saying Mr. Togami did it?
Then the reason he pushed the theory of Genocide Jack being the killer so hard was because he wanted to pin the crime on her.
So, he rearranged the scene to disguise it and make it look like I put my stamp on it.
Also genauso wie auch im ersten Fall mit Sayaka und uns. Interessant.
The adorable glasses man was behind it all. Oh, I'm on fire!
Well, Byakuya, what's your response?
I see. So now the suspicion falls on me. Then I must ask, when would you say I began acting suspicious? Surely you must have an answer.
Looking back and thinking about it now, the way you were acting right before we discovered the body was a little strange.
Das stimmt, er wusste seit Anfang an, dass irgendetwas in den Räumen
You
ist.
wanted to go to the girls' locker room right away, right? But since you're a guy,
I should have naturally thought of the boys' locker room first. Is that what you want to say? The victim was Chihiro, a girl. Hence why I said we should check the girls' locker room.
Nothing strange about that, I'd say.
on the contrary, there's something very strange.
Okay then, what's so strange about it? Go ahead, share with the rest of the class.